Are you turning to food, alcohol, or other detrimental behaviours to your health without even thinking? One of the biggest problems that I see with clients, I've experienced myself, is they will sometimes eat some food or have a few drinks or polish off a bar of chocolate without even realising. They actually feel completely on autopilot. If you've ever experienced that, then there's a very high chance that it's a lack of emotional awareness, regulation, and understanding that's actually causing it. So in this video, I want to cover exactly what's going on. I want to help you understand it so that you can actually overcome it once and for all, get in great shape physically and mentally for the rest of your life, and actually achieve consistency. And most importantly, feel like you're the one in control, instead of yo-yoing up and down all the time. Why is this important to understand? I speak to a hell of a lot of people every single week. I work with clients, I speak with people who inquire with me, I just help people who I chat to on social media or react to my content. And regardless of what people's goals are, whether it's losing weight, losing body fat, building muscle, improving performance, improving confidence, fitting into clothes better, whatever that is, in order to do that, you need to have an active lifestyle, you need to train hard, and you need to eat well. But if everyone knows that, why are so many people struggling? Why are there so many people who are overweight or out of shape and unhappy with their body and mindset? The reason is you need to understand why you're being inconsistent. If you never understand why, then there's no way that you can actually get it solved once and for all. Because when you cannot stick to the plan, what happens then? Instead of just thinking you're a failure and it's never going to work, you have to investigate why. And obviously doing that on your own is hard, but hopefully this video will help you on how you can start to do that. So if we know that we need to train hard, eat well, have an active lifestyle in order to achieve great physical results, what is one of the big things that actually stops people from doing that? I speak to so many people and work with people on a regular basis to overcome these things. And a lack of emotional awareness and regulation is honestly one of the biggest things that's contributing to people being unable to stick to the plan. And truthfully honest, this is what most of my coaching conversations are actually around when I'm working with clients. We obviously set the training and nutrition plan from the start based on their goals and their experience level, everything like that. But the ongoing conversations that I'm having with people behind the scenes is around, oh, okay, you didn't stick to it. What happened? Oh, you were stressed. What was it that was creating the stress? And that is what most of my conversations is around, because those are the actual real life barriers that are stopping people training, eating well, and having an active lifestyle. So actually understanding stress, understanding how your brain works, understanding your emotions is going to be one of the highest value things that you can do to keep you level and then make great decisions so that you can stop polishing off a bar of chocolate, stop eating things on autopilot, stop having those drinks, stop skipping the gym just because you feel like it in the moment and then end up binge watching Netflix for the next 3 hours. So how do we do that? I want to briefly explain how your brain works, because understanding this is really going to help you moving forward. Your brain effectively, whenever anything happens, has 2 tiers or filters in which it goes through first of all. Filter 1 is going to be your emotional thinking brain. This effectively is your fight or flight response, and anything that happens goes through this filter first. It is an evolutionary mechanism that is advantageous because it keeps you safe. So if you were about to go and fall off a cliff, it would kick in, give you a spike of adrenaline, and hopefully get you to react quick enough so that you don't fall to your death. But in today's day and age, we don't always have physical dangers like that are creating that stress response within us. We will have things like having a stressful day, someone saying something that pisses you off, loneliness, having a rest day if you don't like resting. All of those things can create that stress within us. But that first filter, your emotional filter, is the first thing that everything goes through. It also does that very, very quickly before it can pass on to the second filter. Now, the second filter is your logical thinking brain. And this basically draws on a couple of things. It draws on an analysis of the current situation that you're actually in, but it also draws on past experiences. Now, past experiences are very, very important. And the way I like to think about it is, imagine for any topic or any situation, if you've experienced it before, imagine it has a big filing cabinet, and actually when you pull out that filing cabinet, there will be stacks of evidence of what has happened when you have encountered this situation in the past. And that is going to massively influence on your analysis of the current situation. But effectively, that's a really simple way in which our brain filters information and works. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is because if you are doing things and eating or drinking on autopilot, the problem is when you act on the emotion. Okay, it goes to that first filter and then you're acting on it straight away. That is when it's a problem, and that is when you are going to feel out of control, because it happens so quickly. You aren't the one in control. You are only going to feel the one in control if you have the awareness to allow it to pass on to filter 2, which is your logical thinking brain. And that is where we want to make decisions. So if there are decisions around food, around alcohol, around skipping the gym, the reason it's so detrimental and annoying for you if you're going through that is because you're not the one in control. It just happens before you've even thought about it. So we need to do something in order to pass on to that second filter so that you can make the best decision that's going to give you the best outcome. So how do we do that? The key here isn't to wish you didn't have emotions. If you didn't have emotions, you would be a psychopath. That would not be nice. Emotions are very important. That's what makes us human. But we need to actually understand how to manage this. And the way to do that is to add in a pause or a barrier from that emotional filter to you taking an action. You don't even need to buy yourself days. You can literally buy yourself 10 seconds. And if you can buy yourself 10 seconds of time, that is going to be absolutely invaluable in giving you time to pass over to that second filter, where you can actually make logical decisions and, make decisions that align with your goals, that align with your values, align with the person you want to be, and are ultimately going to give you the best outcome within that situation. So you need to break the pattern. And I want to share with you a little story around how this played out for me. I used to finish my dinner literally every weekday, and I would go straight from having my dinner, I'd put my plate on the side or in the dishwasher, and I would go over to the snack drawer, grab myself a bar of chocolate, and then go into the other room to watch some TV. Now, the reason this was a problem is because it was on autopilot. I didn't really realize it was happening until when I actually learned about what I'm sharing with you now, and then I was able to change it. So what I did, I told myself, I give myself full permission to have this if I still want it in 5 minutes time. The reason that's so effective is because I give myself full permission to have it, because naturally, if we say we can't have something, what do we want to do the most? We want to have it. But also, if I still wanted it in 5 minutes time, gave me time to remove myself from the situation, go and watch TV. And very often, I literally went from having it 5 days a week to 0 days a week or 1 day a week if I really wanted it. But even then, on that day I wanted it, that was coming from a logical filter 2 place rather than me just acting on emotion like I was for months prior. So a framework like that is so effective, and all you need to do is create some sort of framework for you to use that you can actually do to give yourself that pause, give yourself that barrier, so that you're not going straight into that emotional filter and acting straight away. Often it's not the actual thing that you've done. If you eat a bar of chocolate, that isn't actually the super detrimental thing. It's often the fact that you felt so out of control when you were doing it. Because if you don't feel in control, then you have no way of repeating it or getting repeatable results. And that's the really scary thing, especially when you want to lose weight, lose body fat, feel great, and improve your health and performance. So that is why it's so important to give yourself the time, space, and implement this barrier strategy so that you can pass over to that logical thinking brain. So I really hope you found that useful. And if you are in a place where you are eating, drinking, skipping the gym without even realizing, I really want to reassure you, you are not a bad person. You are not lacking discipline, you are not broken, this isn't the way that it's always going to be. You can fix it. And here are the 3 simple steps that I would suggest you go and do now to do it. Number 1, be aware of the time and place and situation in which this is happening for you. The more detail here, the better. Is it on the sofa? What time of day is it? What day does it tend to be? Are you stressed? Are you lonely? Is it when you're bored? The more detail and the more aware you can become around exactly the situation that this is happening for you, the more prepared you are before it and in future instances. Number 2 is to create that pause before acting. Feel free to steal my framework around, I give myself full permission to have this if I still want it in 5 minutes time. Or you can even say, I can have this once I've gone and done this house job. Whatever works for you, or you can just take 10 deep breaths in the moment. And lastly, reflect on it afterwards. Rather than just thinking, oh, sod it, I'll try again Monday, with no actual strategy or thing that you can go and focus on, reflect on it. What did I do really well? What am I actually proud of in this situation? And what lessons have I learned that I can do moving forwards? What would I do differently moving forwards? So I really hope you found that useful. If you struggle with doing those things on autopilot and you've often scranned a whole chocolate bar before you even know it, go and do those 3 action steps. I really know they will help. And if you have any questions or you found this valuable, I'd love for you to drop a comment on the video and also drop a like and subscribe if you found this useful.